Well,
don't get frustrated. Just go with it. Hey, well, listen, we out here. We gonna make it work.
Welcome to WOMAN Unplugged, episode 2, where we discuss episode 2 of the Woman Everyday podcast. So I have a special guest with me today. The podcast king is him, Derrick Sier.
In the flesh.
Like, really in the flesh, because it's hard to
I know.
tackle you down.
Do we have like some applause or something we can do?
So I'm gonna find that.
You'll find that.
Okay, let me say your name again so we could set it up.
Okay.
Everyone, we have the podcast king, Derrick Sier. Okay.
I need some walk-in music. I had a client ask me about walk-in music one time, and I did. All I do is win.
Hey, hey,
Welcome to the building. Everybody's hands go up.
and they say that, and they say that, and they say that, down, up, down, up, down. Cause all I do is win.
It's my
Music break.
It's nice. That was nice.
Thank you. Try. I tried.
So what are we talking about today?
Okay, so man, it was really interesting listening to my conversation with Amber.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if this is some sort of cognitive dissonance. I don't know. It's just.
Did you separate from the moment? Or was there some conflict?
I just feel like I'm in this season of life. I was, just even yesterday, I went to go see Maya at her job just to kind of surprise her. And it was something about her that just seemed so grown up.
Do all of your listeners know who Maya is?
Yes, you guys met her on the first episode of the Woman Unplugged. Oh, and I forgot my hair. So I told y'all this uncut and raw. So I try to stretch out my dreads because, when I spray them, they get exactly. So
come on, baby.
Anyway,
check it out. Shake it out. Shake it out.
Excited. Listen, Sister Locks is where it's at.
I don't have brother locks.
Brother Locks.
They call them brother locks.
Really?
Yeah. It's a thing. But I don't have them.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they call them.
You just have dreads.
I just got them locked up. You're right.
Okay. I'm trying to catch up with your wife. Her sister locks are amazing. And actually, it was her story, watching her journey with sister locks. I was like, yeah.
She cut her hair off twice, this long.
Yeah.
And then grew it back out, and it was like,
I did that 3 times.
And then the next time she grew it out, she was like, lock it up.
Lock it up.
Let's go.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
All right. So cognitive dissonance, kids,
yes.
Everybody's growing up. I feel like I'm in a different season of parenting.
I would agree.
And it feels, I don't know how to be in this space. I mean, when I think about being a parent, I always saw myself as a parent of young children. In this space of big girls, young adults. College. Look at me, I'm calling them girls. Yeah. They have their own mind. Yeah. They have their own way. They have a path that they want to walk. And it's not my path. And I'm uncomfy.
What's uncomfortable about it? Because you got to think, I was telling Nia's my daughter. She's a freshman in college this year. And I told her every year for maybe the last 5 or 6 years, I was like, that I've never had a 13-year-old before.
Yeah, you talked about that.
And so you're going to have to help me. We're going to have to learn together.
Yeah.
When she turned 14, I've never had a 14-year-old before. You're going to have to help me and go together. So for you, you've never been in this season before. So if you walked into it with confidence and experience, I would be surprised.
Well, I am unconfident. Zero.
Not even 1 or 2%. Not even a little bit confident.
I haven't ruined them yet.
I'm confident.
I'm saying it. I haven't ruined them. I hope I don't. I think I just want them to be everything that they can be. Yeah. I want them to experience everything that they want to experience. Yeah. I want them to have their own mind, their own money, their own goals, their own everything. Yeah. I mean, you want to go to the moon? Baby, let's go. We're going to get you to the moon.
Absolutely.
So That's where I'm at.
But how do we do it though?
I don't know.
And then we look at other people, and it looks like they have it all together, and their kids are perfect.
I just don't.
You
I don't care what it looked like.
You done seen some things. You done been through some stuff where like looking at people, and then you peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And then to the world, it looked like one thing, and you're like, listen, but I know them, and I've been talking to them. Not that you would ever like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
And so, and not to say that everybody is presenting one way, and no offense, because everything is not everybody's business.
Absolutely.
So, like, I get a certain level of, and it's not even secrecy, it's discretion, you know, right? People trying to protect their jobs, their image, or whatever, you know. So, I don't buy it no more.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. On the rare occasion you get to meet people, and really, I think it comes down to relationships.
Absolutely.
So, like, couples or friends or whatever, that's the real deal. So, I interviewed Nikki on and he knows Nikki.
I know Nikki. Yeah.
Did y'all graduate in the same class?
Same class, yeah.
So, her and her husband, I was saying they are the real deal. And I know you know some, and we didn't even get into it in the podcast. I had mentioned like how they guard their marriage.
They do.
They are serious.
Vigorously.
Yes.
Like ferociously.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they got some habits and practices that are like, are you serious? And
okay, like, Nikki, we're going to put your business out just a little bit because
I wasn't going to do it.
I know, he wasn't going to do it.
I wasn't going to do
it. Because she family and I kind of know. We'll just talk about this one aspect. So, specifically with like people staying the night of the opposite sex.
It doesn't matter.
Family.
Yeah. It doesn't matter which sex it is. They just not.
Yeah. So one time you were in
Chicago. And I was like, yo, see my coming through. And, you know, normally when I'm in a city and I know people there, then I won't get like a hotel room. I'll just go stay with them. You know, they friends. I've been knowing you for over 20 years. I'm just swinging through. I'm sleeping on the couch. You know, I know you got kids. I ain't tripping. I've been in the house with kids.
Right.
She was like, nah, cuz. Nah. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we got this rule. And I was like, for real? And she's like, yeah. And so I don't even bother.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll meet you out.
And not rude about it?
Oh, no, very, very, not matter of factors, but like, this is what it is. Like, if you had a rule, that's how they state it.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm divorced on the second marriage.
I'm grateful my wife is still here.
Like, we just yet holding on.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, do what you have to do. People call enough other stuff weird or whatever. But
absolutely.
I think when the outcome is good and positive, then it's like, who am I?
Yeah.
And guess what? It's none of my business.
That's nice.
So on that subject of marriage, one of the things that we talked about in the podcast with Amber was being married so young.
I mean, we both know about that.
Yeah. So how old were you when you got... Okay, I was 22.
You were 20 also?
I was 20 when I got married.
Okay. You said 22.
Sorry.
You were 20 also.
TOO.
Yes. I was like, no, you wouldn't. I call you a lot on the podcast. Not true.
So you were 20. Your wife was 20 as well?
She was 21.
21. Okay. That's right.
Sure.
Okay.
I like them. Yeah.
If you could do it all over again.
I'm joking. She's not that old. She older.
Hey, however old she is.
She older.
She fine. She fine.
Hey, listen. Matter of fact, she was getting ready to go to a brunch today. She went and hung out with her sister, and she put on some jeans. And I was like, you can't go to brunch. Not no jeans. I was like, oh, put something else. I'll iron it for you. You know, just go and do the things. She goes to put on this little dress. I was like, come on, brunch. She had some earrings. I was like, them is brunch earrings right there. She put on some shoes. Them is brunch shoes now. She put on, she had a little purse on. I was like, that's a brunch purse. Come on now. So she gonna walk out with a little swag and a step. I'm like, come on, go to brunch then.
Come on, brunch outfit.
She cute.
We good for calling stuff out.
Now your question, would I do it again? I actually had this conversation with my wife and my kids. And I said, if you could come back and do it 10 times again, would you do it? And my answer was no. Like, I've already done it.
Right.
Had the kids, had the marriage. I would do something else 9 different times.
Right.
Like, I love this one. I love this one.
Right.
And that has...
I'm grateful for it.
Absolutely. And and when I say that, I share this story, and people are like, dang, like, you ain't supposed to say that. I recently went on a trip to the Grand Canyon with my sister, and I told her this, and she was like, look, bro, some stuff you just don't say. And I was like, I'm being serious. Like, I did the thing.
Yeah.
And if I get to come back 9 more times,
we're doing it different.
I'm doing it different. And that's not
different ways.
That's not the kid. That's not the kids. That's just me wanting to try something else, doing it a different way.
Yeah.
Like, we try to romanticize. If anybody watches Black Mirror, there's this show on there where this couple keeps coming back, and they keep coming back in different people, but they find each other every time. And so there's this like tendency or this reaction to want to romanticize, like, I'll find you in 1,000 different lifetimes, and 1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I may find you, but the next time around, we might just be friends. Like, we might just be homie lovers, or we might just be whatever it is. But like, in this specific case, in this essence, I wouldn't do this round again if I got another chance.
Okay. I feel that. I look back, and one of the things that I talked about in the episode was I gave up so much more than I thought. And it's like, if I could go back as a woman, I feel like I sacrificed a lot as a young wife, stay-at-home mom. And I regret that. Of course, I don't regret my kids. I don't regret the time that I had with my first husband. But, oh man, if I could do it differently, I would.
I mean,
for sure.
You sacrifice relationships. You sacrifice, your body has gone through it. I don't know how much you share with all this, but.
Well, and I haven't even shared that, but so with my third kid, and it started with Esther. Isn't this like a metaphor for life? It started with Esther. Amber finished the job, but like my abdominal wall completely tore down the middle, where some women may have some diastasis, I believe it is, where it sort of pulls a little bit. And like if you're doing a sit-up, you may get that little plateau, mine ripped. The only thing that was holding that kid in was like my flesh. So I had to wear a brace. When I carried Amber, and I was on strict bed rest for 6 months. If you are listening, I should have trigger warning. I should have trigger warning you guys. Trigger warned you guys, especially for people who have not had kids. My story is not everyone's story.
It's not.
It was a fluke, and I'm short. I have a very short torso. It probably literally is like, and when I carried, I didn't go out to the side at all. I went straight forward like a bullet. I saw a video I'm gonna pull it up. I saw a video on Instagram the other day, and I sent it to the kids. I was like, oh my God, this was literally me when I was pregnant, because this woman is like super skinny. I was very skinny. Don't say nothing now, okay? But super skinny, and then
it's funny that you got the video
bullet, baby. I'll share it to the
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yes.
Literally me.
Yes.
That was me.
Are we gonna get flagged? Can you play that?
You said what?
Are we gonna get flagged for playing that? Like on YouTube or something? We'll figure it out. We get flagged. We'll hand it off. I say we. This ain't my podcast. This is yours. I'm gonna let you worry about that. We learning. But yeah, like when you think about what you sacrificed, what you gave, what you went through privately, publicly, like within your family, like when you think about the things, and I only know part of the story, right? Like as your friend, there are things that, I'm sure that either you've forgotten to share or you will never share, or whatever those things are.
The things that women don't share.
Listen, and I'm saying
anybody.
And so thinking about coming back and doing it again.
Bruh.
Like why?
Bruh. And I've told this to my kids. The episode I did with Maya, I was like, that dink life, that double income kid.
It's a real thing.
Like, for those that are living it, props. Mad props.
Yeah.
I love my kids. I would never give them up or trade them now that I have them. Like, I love them. But yeah, if I could have an opportunity to experience like a different type of life.
And I think like I don't know that we have to qualify that decision. Like I think we asterisk our decision because we want everybody else to feel good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I know what I mean.
But the reality is if our kids were in the same spot and they were given the same question, they would answer it the same way.
Listen, and without hesitation and no qualifiers. Or maybe little. Come on, they be like, I said what I said. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then they are like almost unapologetic about it.
Completely.
So I say what I said. I'm not doing it again. I love y'all. I do.
And not. Okay.
I know.
We might get burned at the stake for this one.
I already had that conversation. Oh, you're talking about with the people. Oh, okay. Jump in the comment section, please. Add me. Please add me.
No.
Yeah. Shoot.
Okay. Did I ask this? Yeah. Did your goals shift after you got married? I don't know if you really answered it.
I don't think you asked it. Did my goals shift?
Did your goals shift after you got married?
So I got married so young. I don't know that my goals were even established.
Okay.
I knew I didn't want to be the dude who stayed in Tulsa. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Went to Booker T. Washington High School. Hornets up, right? So I went to school with some rock stars.
Yeah.
That did some really amazing things. And I didn't want to be, we called them loser townie guys. I didn't want to be that person. And again, no offense to people who stayed, but I didn't.
But we all know what we talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Like the person
they never got out.
You know what I'm saying? They still in Tulsa going to the football games, that old dude hanging around. I mean, like, we all know that person. I knew I didn't want to be that person. Right. And so I was surrounded with people that were on athletic scholarships and that were really, really smart, high ACT, SAT scores. And I just didn't want to be the dude. So I went to college and I racked up a ton of experiences and a ton of debt in the process.
Yep.
And so my goals weren't even established. I knew the only thing I wanted to know, I knew two things. One, I didn't want to stay in Tulsa. And then two, I've always known I want to be a father.
Yeah.
And so outside of that, my goals didn't take shape until I got married. I actually didn't even want more for myself. I was real cool with just kind of going to work. My dad was a bus driver. And so I saw him essentially raised 13 kids driving buses, right? He had 4 before he met my mom. My mom had 2. They had me together. That's 8. Then his 4th marriage or his 4th relationship, she had 5 kids. And so my dad essentially did. So I grew up seeing a bus driver do okay and do some really cool things. And so I didn't really want a lot more for myself until I got married. And then she kind of birthed those things out of me. I was on a college campus, and so I started seeing college people want and do things more. So I don't know that my goals took shape until after I got married.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely, I talked about in the episode how I had plans to be on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And that really changed. Like I was supposed to be moving to New York after graduation.
I didn't know
that. They have like audition season.
Mm-hmm.
I had a benefactor who was going to, pay for
Gina loves my to dance. Transition. Do they know that about you? Do your listeners know about that?
I don't think that
Gina loves to dance. She danced all through high school. Did you dance in middle school too?
I did.
Dancer, y'all, like salsa. She'll get on. You know what I'm saying? She'll get out there and shake it. Line dance. So she going from her to her and everything in between. She loves to dance. So that kind of hurts my heart to hear that. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I gladly gave it up. It was sort of like that hit you. It hit me after the fact because in my mind, I thought I would get back to it. And I did continue to dance, but it wasn't my dream, my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not bitter about that. No, I'm not like, man, I didn't achieve that thing. And so I'm sad about it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that grieves me is that I didn't know better you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I felt like I had to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm going to choose a family over dancing. Like, what is, like, dancing can't hold me at night.
But that's so narrow. Like,
it is.
To think now, looking back then, that you only had two choices.
Yeah.
Right? I think that shows how young.
Yep.
And how
mature.
Yeah, that we were looking at those situations.
Yeah.
I could totally see you now being like, having done the things and traveled the world, and now you're like looking back, pouring into young dancers, and I could see you in a studio. Nope, stop, run it again.
Yeah.
Like pouring, talking about the industry and the money part and the business part and building a relationship. Like you would have totally stewarded that gift well.
Version 3. If we talk about these lives,
version 3,
that would have been life 3. Life 2, I would have tried to maybe do it both at the same time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Like family and?
Like, I'm married, so maybe not kids now because I'm going to New York. I was older than my husband and I graduated before him. So it's sort of like, you can meet me later. Meet me in New York City, you know, in Berkeley Square or something.
Yeah. And people are doing that. That by this time, it wouldn't have been so obscure. I mean, we know friends in our 40s that are having kids.
Yeah. Which is...
Listen.
Bless you.
Our kids are on the way out.
Listen.
And I cannot imagine.
Listen. Bless you. That's all I got to say. Bless you. May your womb be blessed.
Come on.
May your children be blessed. May your heritage be blessed. I'm 43. I cannot imagine being 71 at graduation. Is that right?
61.
61 at graduation. That's not true. I think I could do it.
No.
61. I would not want to. No. I can't imagine being pregnant right now. The way my body feels like it's betraying me.
She's like currently mid-betrayal.
Betraying me. Especially going from being like this active dancer.
Yes.
Derrick remembers a time when your girl was ripped. I had an 8-pack. I'm just soft and squishy now in all the places.
And the admiration of one, at least, who loves everything that's going on. So don't let that trip on y'all, man. No.
I appreciate it. But
appreciate it.
Listen, I'm trying to lose this weight.
You know, that brings me to something else when we think about like how we look at our lives versus how other people look at our lives.
Yeah.
And for me to say that I wouldn't do it again, that one side, and not that I'm saying there's only two responses to this, but one side would be like, really? And would immediately go into like, what's going on, that he wouldn't do it again. And then the other side would probably be like, he's ungrateful, you know, that type of thing. And it's like, I think this is where we started our conversation with like, I'm not surprised anymore. Like when people, you know, they're like, yeah, I wouldn't do this again. And from the outside, it's like, yo, man, look like you're having a good time. Look like everything's like, yeah, you know, but I wouldn't.
Yeah. Or even the people, I spoke about it in, I think it was episode 1 with Nakia, about people who have made the very intentional choice to not have kids.
Going through all the measures.
Yeah.
To not do it. I got a couple friends like that.
And to me, I don't know. It's kind of, I marvel at it a little bit because it's like, wow, you had the wherewithal. First of all, you waited. You weren't having kids young. You didn't have kids by accident, you know. So, which meant you had knowledge, you had tools, you made a choice. I'm going to, you know, wait until I'm ready. And then when you got to a point where you're ready, you're like, I'm good.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And like serious. I do know at least 2 couples who decided later on that they did want kids. But by the time they were decided, and this I feel like is key, they were much more financially stable and established, not only financially, but also in their career and professional growth. And so I look at those people because, like, we didn't come from families where we inherited any sort of wealth or, you know, there was no dowry. You know, no exchange of cows or goats. It was like,
at all.
Bruh, thank you for helping me take her off my payroll.
Appreciate you. I mean, pay for my own wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get no help with no deposit on no house. We didn't get no car gifts.
I will say my dad, and I'm saying my dad, my parents, they did pay for my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And when we bought a house, they didn't help us with a down payment, but they have been helpful in other ways that made it available for us to,
That's good. Respect.
Yeah, mad respect.
Yeah,
mad respect.
I ain't trying to
honor and glory.
The oppression Olympics or nothing. I ain't trying to I'll compete you and then just saying compared to what other people got that we've seen.
Right, that's typical.
Yeah, that's normal. That puts them ahead, even if it's just information. There's another way to do it. Like I got made fun of for getting married and then having kids.
Same.
Same. Oh snap! He got married. Then it's like.
Well, I was the virgin when I got married, so I really got made fun of.
Oh my God! Come college boy,
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't have no goals. I don't know. I didn't have any wherewithal. I was very immature, or maybe mature appropriate, should we say, for a 19, 20-year-old. And I dropped out of school to get married. I moved to a different state to get married. Right. And my dad, it tried to help me, but it had no backing. It didn't feel right. He was like, "Don't do it, son." And I was like, "Why?" He was like, "I don't know. It
don't feel right."
It just don't feel right. I'm like, "Give me something, pops." And I was like, "I love her." And he was like,
And this is the dad that was married 4 times.
Yeah, it's 4 times, right? That's one thing he always told me. He said, I can't tell you how to stay married, but I can tell you what to do if you don't want to stay married. And it was just one of those things where he was just like, I don't know, son. It just don't.
Before he passed, did he ever affirm you in your choice to get married? Maybe I was wrong about that. Y'all are doing good.
No.
Okay.
No. Dad
thought there was gonna be a moment, a little TV moment.
He grabbed my hand and he was like, "Son, you know what? I was wrong." No, he didn't say that. My dad was always been, proud of me, encouraging me and things like that. But he never. I'm trying to think of when he said I was wrong or I should have did differently. The thing about that is I think that parents, especially parents that are a little bit older, I don't. They just kind of stick by their decisions.
To the death.
In the moment, that's what I thought was the best decision, and I did it.
Yeah.
And I respect the firmness of it, and I think Dad maybe in his wanting the most for me, he also had kids at a very early age.
Yeah.
He also got married at a very early age, and having to leave one kid, the mother of that kid, and then find another mother, had 4 kids, and then left that one, and then went to another mother, and then had me, and then went to another one who had 5 kids. I think my dad, by the time I was getting married, was looking at marriage
it's a joke.
It's you don't need to, bro. You love her, yeah. Well, you don't have to get married. He just was, from his experience, was just trying to give me some advice that he didn't necessarily have to give.
Yeah.
He just knew from his own experience that he had seen what I was doing before, and he hadn't seen it play out well.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to the questions of would I do it again? No. And then 2, did I have goals? No. Just because I was so young.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the wherewithal.
Yeah. Okay. Random question.
Okay.
But there was a little quip in the episode with Amber when I said she was my favorite Amber, and she was like favorite child, and I was like my favorite Amber. So that's something I always say to you're my favorite Maya, you're my favorite Esther.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite kid? He only has 2.
I got 2. They have
thinking about it.
I am, because not overall, but they do some things that are my favorite things.
Yeah.
Right? Me and Nia, we would just sing, and we are snugglers. And she will let me kiss her till the day is long. She just got to know. She's like, how many kisses? And I'm like, 1 billion. And she's like, 5. I'm like, okay. But she's so affectionate and snuggly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ethan is my talker. Mm-hmm. He will. So it's I have my favorite things that they do, but I don't know, like Nia was my first.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, and she, you know, she's a crier as well. And I'm like, you made me a daddy. Like you did.
Yeah.
Like mama didn't. Mama, but you made me a daddy, and I'm forever grateful for that gift. Like I've never received a gift like that from anyone. Like when you can gift fatherhood, like that she gave that to me, right? Yeah. And so like that's really cool. And mamas, I'm not dissing y'all. Like I thank y'all, I appreciate y'all.
It's the same. It's relative, man.
I mean, we can't like I can't be a parent without kids.
Yeah.
And so my daughter literally helped raise me. Like she helped mature me at a rate that I probably wouldn't have had I not had kids.
That's good.
And so they have their favorite things about them that I enjoy.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Let's see. Another theme discussed in that episode was entrepreneurship. And I know that you are an entrepreneur.
I am.
Hung your own shingle. Mm-hmm. Like, tell me, how did you get into owning your own business and running it?
Yeah. So I think I can go back to being 8, 9 years old. And my dad, while he did drive buses, he also had like these little side gigs. So he would like detail cars, and he would like he would just do, you know, he was a drug dealer, you know, for a while, and
street pharmacist.
He was also a pimp. Do we have a name for that one?
People management?
People pusher, people management?
I don't know.
I don't know. He
have to look that up.
Yeah, and so he was just kind of while he did punch a clock, he had some side situations.
Yeah.
So I always saw Dad with cash in his hand. I always saw Dad like come home and then do something else. Mm-hmm. He volunteered in youth sports. He volunteered at the church, and so he always found a way to do something extra with his time. He encouraged me to recycle cans. He allowed me to use his lawnmower to walk around the neighborhood and cut grass. My pastor helped teach me how to drive when I was in middle school, and so he would pay me in like coins, like leftover cash from the end of the week. When I was after I graduated college, I worked for a company, and I met this dude named Hetty. Gregory Coleman out of Guthrie.
Hetty, shout out.
Guthrie, America. Hetty had a full-time job, but he also did all these things on the side, like ran a poetry night, and he was working with a nonprofit called Education is Cool. His dad is also an entrepreneur, and he is now the executive director for 4 nonprofits under his dad. And so he does that in addition to pastoring a church, in addition to being a speaker and trainer, in addition to being an author. And so I've had people in my life that were always doing something extra besides working a job. And then I believe God has put people in my life to help me bring that stuff to pass. And so I ended up connecting with a guy named Jared Murr with Paradigm Shift out of Muskogee. Regina helped launch my company. She did some branding and online presence and marketing and things like that. Haiti was one of those guys. Was Greg Hawks Agency.
Shout out Greg Hawks.
Yeah, he was one. So I just had people that was around me that kind of helped me do those things. So it was inevitable that I was going to have a side gig, a side hustle. But what launched me into starting my own things, I was at Chesapeake Energy. It was a natural gas company, energy company here in Oklahoma City.
I remember that.
And I remember going to these trainings. And we would sit there for 4 hours, and for 45 minutes, this person would click and they'd turn and they would read the PowerPoint, and they would give you some handouts and they'd reference the page number and all the stuff. And so I remember talking to Danielle, what's her name in HR, shout out to Danielle. And I was like, yo, we got to do something different. Like we have 10,000 employees all across the United States, and they're all going through this training. What can I do? And she was like, well, games, activities, tabletop stuff. And so I got into that. I was getting ready to jump and leap and leave and start my own company. And then Chesapeake Energy went through new management. The CEO was pushed out. They brought another guy in who was a bottom line guy. And I worked in the fitness center. And then they pushed out the fun stuff first. And so it kind of forced me to swim or drown. And over the last 11 years, I've been able to publish 4 books, start 2 companies. I've spoken in 42 states and 2 countries. I've spoken over to 500,000 students across the country. And so like, I'm kind of at this pace now where entrepreneurship is kind of a lifestyle. It's what I do.
Yeah.
And I've even gotten to the point where I can help other people start theirs as well. That was a long answer.
I love it though. So hearing you talk immediately brings to mind Taylor Doe.
Tito!
Shout out Taylor Doe. And he talks about these and then moments. Mm-hmm. So along your entrepreneurial journey, what were some of those and then moments? I mean, you've kind of dropped a few nuggets with some people who were instrumental in helping you, but what are those critical and then moments that really helped propel you to the next dot?
Yeah. I can think of my dad, of course, and he's throughout, but I can remember one specific thing that he did when I was younger, and that was make your bed. Mm-hmm. Make your bed. Like that was something as it pertains to starting the day with a win, having discipline, keeping my space neat. I was just one of those kids that once I locked into neat spaces, wherever I went, whether it was middle school, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, when I'm married, like one of the things I do when I wake up is make my bed. And I started that when I was probably 7, 8 years old. The next one will probably be Mr. Wiley, who was the elementary school teacher who introduced me to singing on a stage. And I remember asking him, he was like, Derrick, we just need you to sing. And I was like, sing what? And he was like, anything. And so I would get on stage and I would sing Star Spangled Banner and the National Black Anthem and the ABCs and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Like he just wanted me to sing anything.
Yeah.
And then I found out, this is what I found out, that girls didn't only like guys with muscles. They like people who feed them and who are funny and are talented. And I've locked that in like from 3rd or 4th grade on. Like, wait a minute, I can be funny. Girls like that.
Yeah.
I can be talented. Girls like that.
Yeah.
Because I was this short little chubby guy, right? And I was trying to be like the muscly dude that I saw, like all the fast kids who could jump high and they were, strong.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. I don't have to be those things. I can be funny and I can be nice and I can be smart and I can be talented and I can feed you and you will still like me. And so I'll kind of take those skills like through middle school, high school. That's a lady named Janet Thomas that I met in 6th grade. And she was the first teacher that I knew that consistently spoke life into me.
6th grade?
Yep, at Carver.
PE?
No. She was like social studies or something like that. Yeah, she came to my wedding when I got married. She bought me a crystal bowl that I still have from my wedding. And she was one of those people that was like, this is a piece that you can pass down to your kids. And if you don't have anything like that, allow me to like give you the first thing. So I absolutely love her, still keep in contact with her. Janice Bay Youth.
Shout out.
Listen, she put the mic on my hand, put me on stages, gave me the opportunity to sing in front of hundreds of my peers, took me around the city and the state, the country to go do some really cool things regarding music. And I'm still in love with music to this day. I have a guy named Gerald Cowan, who is a professor at UCO. I think he might be the dean of outdoor rec there. But I got there at the same time that he got there. And we just kind of built this relationship. I still hang out with him to this day, but he's the one that recommended me for the internship at Chesapeake Energy, which is where I worked for 9 years. You know what I'm saying? Like I got all these people along the way that I absolutely love that service and then moments. And for those of you that aren't really sure, that aren't familiar with Taylor Doe and these moments, and then moment is like when you're telling a story and it's like, I went to UCO and then I got a job at Chesapeake Energy. And Taylor like has these, he's like, wait, what's the and then? Like what happened in that moment? It's like, oh, well, I was showing up early for class. I would stay late. I would volunteer. And I met this guy named Gerald Cowan. And he was like, oh, tell me more about Gerald. And then Gerald becomes my and then moment. And so I just have these people that I just meet over and over and over again that kind of help put a microphone in my hand, put me on a stage, gave me the confidence to do what I do today.
I love that.
I got short my answers. That was long.
No, it's okay.
People gonna put me on 2 times speed, like when they're going.
I put everybody on 2 times. Well, some people I've noticed as I listen to my own podcast, I normally listen to podcasts on 1 1/4, and I talk really fast.
I feel like I'm talking fast right now.
Yeah, we are. So I can't do 1 1/4 on myself. But I wonder if these other like professionally done podcasts are actually slowing it down because their music sounds normal. So like I listen to my music and it's like, but it's like slower when I'm playing it at 1x. So anyway, I think between the podcast and the audibles, there's something because, you know, you listen to these books on 1x. Yeah. They are so slow. And I'm like, nobody talks like that. So anyway, you can't listen to my podcast.
Maybe it's a tip. Maybe they say speak slower so that when people speed it up.
I don't know. I feel like they're slowing people down.
You think so? I also think that like my brain moves at like this speed.
Yeah. I agree. So podcasts, 1 1/4, audibles, 1 1/2.
There we go.
Marco Polo, 2x.
2x. You got
2x.
Especially if what they're talking about is like, you kind of got the gist of what they're talking about, you know.
Yeah. Double tap that.
Yeah, double tap that.
5 seconds, 10 seconds. Okay. A shout out.
I'm not listening to y'all polos.
Shout out to the dope moms because I've made some low key complaints. Like I love we have this mom group on Marco Polo, but I'm like, people be talking.
Y'all better shorten them polos.
And then they're like searching in their purse. And then they're like quiet. And then they're like talking to the traffic. And it's like, pause. Stay focused.
Talk to me. Talk to us.
This was an 8-minute
polo.
3.
Which is an 8-minute polo is forever in Polo Land. I feel like a 2-minute polo is forever in Polo Land.
So I do watch them all, ladies. I'm all caught up. Let me see. I might be 7 behind right now, but
for anybody else that uses Marco Polo, do you look at the
8? I'm 8 behind.
You're 8 behind. It's actually called the Dope Moms Club.
Told y'all.
Did anybody else look at the white time marker at the end, at the bottom of the polo to see?
Oh. Every time.
To see like how, oh no, I'll come back.
What's the commitment level? I need to know.
I'll come back. I'll come back. And when I'm sitting on
it's just minutes.
Yeah, it is, but it's like,
you know how much time we spend scrolling.
But that ticker on the bottom feel like it'd be crawling. You know, I can't do it. I gotta come back.
Do you have Marco Polo Plus?
Yeah, I do.
Got to, because listen, that time and a half and that double time. There's one person in our group
who doesn't have it.
I'm not gonna say you know your name, but you know your name. She talks very, very fast. First of all, no waste of time. So I appreciate your Marco Polo. But I can't listen to her on double time.
No.
At our time and a half. Like literally, that's what it sounds like.
All right, love y'all. Bye.
Yep. That's it. So anyway, I'm not hating on the Dope Moms Club. I love y'all.
No, hey, and go check out before we transition to the other questions. Go check out Taylor Doe,
please. Yes, back to
and
Taylor.
Then you can type in and then Taylor Doe DOE. Such a good talk. I think it's about 13, 14, 15 minutes. It's good. Follow him online. He's doing some really cool stuff, not only in Oklahoma but around the country.
Okay. Switching gears.
Okay.
How do you and your wife approach?
Oh, I was like, hello.
Domestic duties.
Ooh, I am more domestic than she is. So I think we just kind of had this, we had this semi-agreement early on that like, if she handles the money.
Okay, she's really good at that.
She is. If she handles the money, then I will do the other things.
Okay.
And then I was very domestic growing up. And so it was laundry and cooking. My mom was like, don't ever allow no woman to cook for you. So I learned how to cook very early on.
Okay.
She didn't want to. I also was a late potty trainer person. So I peed the bed. So I was like well into like 6, 7 years old.
I was on an episode, I was 11.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I mean, it was some traumatic stuff that was happening. Yeah, but it was like, so mom was just like, I'm not doing it. And if I find out that you peeing in the bed, then you're going to get whooped. And I didn't want to get whooped. So I learned how to do laundry very early on. And so I was for about 7 or 8 when I started doing my laundry. 7 or 8 when I started cooking. I was always cleaning because my dad was a very cleanly person. And so just kind of middle school, high school, college, like I was the neat person. I was very domestic.
Yeah.
And it worked out well because that's something that my wife, while she can be good at, if given the option to not do it, she will take on other tasks.
Well, but she's such a great designer, like when it comes to home decor and organizing for sure. I mean, like I've hired her a couple of times to come, please help me get my life together. But she has, I mean, her eye for beauty is really good. So I think you guys make a really great match in that area. Yeah.
And then food as well. Like I don't mind cooking. And so, not that she can't cook, but I'm the type of dude that will just get in there and cook like 4 meals. And then that way I don't have to cook the rest of the time. And it's ironic that none of my family enjoys leftovers. And so whenever they be like, there ain't nothing to eat, I'm like, you a lie. I know you a lie. I know for fact.
That's one of those things that Adam has come to.
Who's Adam?
Y'all know.
I'm just making sure. Okay.
Adam Lane. But he... Sorry. Oh, and I'm shaking the table. Sorry.
I'm working with it. Don't worry about it.
Adam has learned that we're not big on leftovers. And he is very much a leftovers guy. I think it might break his heart just a little bit.
I love it so much. I will bake some spaghetti and just eat it all week.
Yeah, I want to be a leftovers. Like I'm just not. Like in my heart, I feel like I am.
We talked about this though. You want fresh food, like
dude.
You like hot, I like fresh food. Yeah.
I like my
cold food. Cold.
Like
how many times have I heard that say this?
Yeah, I do. I love like salad. Adam is one of those people that he can do that. And he doesn't have to have his food hot. And I'm like, you don't want to put it in the microwave? He's like, no, I'm good. It's fine. And I'm like, bless you.
And your digestive system.
Does it matter?
I don't think it does. That's, I don't know. I want to say there's black people, but I just know like mamas and grandmas be like, you want me to warm it up? Let me warm you up a plate. Let me warm that up real quick. Don't stand and eat, and then don't eat cold food. I'm like, where you get this from?
I don't know, but I will say this. So we did not have, that's not true. We had a microwave growing up, but we weren't really allowed to use it, much like the dishwasher that we had that we were.
You had a dishwasher and microwave and didn't use either?
No. So I, to this day, if I need to heat something up, unless it's just like a few seconds, I will heat it up in the oven or on the stove.
The oven?
Leftover pizza, oven.
Microwave. Or cold. I'll eat pizza cold.
Green beans, stove.
Microwave.
Got some meat. I might, depending on what it is,
might eat it cold.
It's going in on a stove, like with a little water to get that steam up. And to this day, my mother will not use a microwave, and she will not eat off of throwaway plates. Throwaway plate.
Really?
She's at the house right now, by the way.
Is she? How long is she here?
I'm always trying to keep her for much longer than she wants to stay. I know.
You ain't got no life back. Where are you going to? Exactly.
Got a boyfriend?
Shut, Gina. Your mama does not have a boyfriend.
She got two, because daddy is her boyfriend too.
That's hilarious.
Listen.
Don't put your mama's business in the street like that. That's hilarious. Mommy, you got two? Mommy, she just told all your business on this episode. Do they know about each other? Old folks, they be knowing about each other. They don't even care. They be like, okay.
I gotta be quiet now because I don't know how she's gonna feel about
it. Gertrude, you better tell them, stop using my soap. There's rules around here. It's some etiquette.
Father in heaven.
That's hilarious.
Lord Jesus.
Help us.
Well, she be trying to go back to her boyfriend. And I'd be like, I don't know that dude.
Really?
I wanted to say another word.
Don't do it. How do you feel about domestic duties and responsibilities?
So I don't know if I did talk about that on this
and have
episode.
They changed?
Heck yeah. So
and then how do your girls see it? Okay, that's 3 questions.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, I definitely grew up very heavy in the gender roles.
Traditional gender roles?
Very traditional to this day. I have not cut a yard.
Okay.
I didn't start taking out trash until maybe being married to Lorenzo, but even now I don't take out the trash unless like somebody missed it. It's very rare.
Who's somebody?
Amber now. Okay. Just this morning she was complaining. She was like, I'm the last one left and nobody's here to. And Adam was like, we don't even ask you to do that much. Like, just take out trash, do the dishes. Like,
listen, these kids, man, and it's my fault. It's my fault. I'll take the blame for that. Hey, you asked them to do the. Never mind.
I'm like, this is the rest of the episode right here. If we start talking,
we can't.
It's the rest of the episode.
Because I got a lot of material. I got so many examples.
See the kind of chores we were doing every Saturday.
Come on, listen.
There were daily chores, and then there was Saturday. And Sunday we rested.
Saturday was clean today.
Listen, when the church music.
With the music. Oh.
Or you hear Al Green?
Listen.
Love.
Okay. Mama with the bonnet and the house dress on. Coming in with that broom in her hand, knocking on the door.
And we swept our carpet. We had a vacuum cleaner. We had that Kirby.
Yeah, I was
But there was sweeping the carpet, and then there was vacuuming. So sweeping the carpet was deep clean, and carpet was just surface.
Did you see that meme that said black people season everything, even their carpet? Going through the house.
Oh, don't send it to me. Don't find it and send it to me.
Oh my God. I was like, listen, I stand convicted and confirmed. Yeah. Just walking around the house, hand on the. Did you get this? We got it in the house. We got it. If somebody vacuumed and they didn't season the carpet, people like, who the vacuum this is? My bad. Let me go on back. Hit you with the joint.
So we don't even do that now because it really messes up your carpet.
Does it?
Yes.
What does it do to it?
You never really get it all. And so dirt, oil, all those things gets trapped. If you have allergies, it makes it even worse.
It smells good though.
It do.
That smell.
It worked.
Listen, it ain't nothing like walking through a house and smelling Lysol and bleach.
Listen, and we had Comet. So like, sprinkle that. Listen, your bathroom was not clean if it didn't have no Comet and no Lysol.
We season our toilets. We season our tubs. We season our sinks.
Yes.
We just
what's that?
Tub Larry's.
Lemon juice.
Sink Larry's. Toilet Larry's. Just season everything.
Listen.
It's gonna get some season.
Everything got clean. The corners.
Listen, baseboards. Window sills.
All of it. Ceiling fans.
No more. No.
What kind of chores do your kids do?
Their only responsibilities is their end of the house. So our house, when you enter into our house, we have the master suite. As soon as you walk in the front door, you got to go through the living room, dining room, kitchen to get to the back side of the room. We not balling. Don't even think we balling.
They are.
But when you get to the back end of the house, you have 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and the laundry room. They're responsible for their end of the house. You clean up your room, you clean up your bathroom. They alternate on the kitchen, who does dishes and countertops, stuff like that, and take the trash out. That's it.
Okay, so what is cleaning the room, and how often?
Yeah, to me, which is not what's done, cleaning the room is putting your laundry up, straightening your bed, vacuuming your carpet.
So what's actually happening?
Consistently? Nothing.
So, man, where did we lose our way?
Because we try to get it's like we could walk in the room and we don't immediately want to go into any room ain't clean. I ain't doing this, because it's like now we're coming like aware of like mental health, and we want them to have agency, and we understand that you've had a hard day at school and you're tired and you may need a nap or you might be hungry, and you are able to operate in your space even when it's not clean, and just because other people, it's like we got all this stuff, and I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying there's something to get your ass. Are we?
Yes.
Oh, get your ass out this bed and clean this damn room.
Right. My daddy would literally open up the door, hit the wall twice, mush Chalamet. I have no idea what that means. It's from his military travels.
Yeah.
But listen, that meant get your ass up and clean. Like, what? Why am I having to come in here?
You heard the music. You know what time it is.
To tell you.
I've gotten woken up with belt out of my sleep, cold water, like the pitcher cold water. Shh.
Okay, I didn't get that.
I got that. I got my dad knew how to like snap his belt, like pop.
Oh, the snapping of the belt.
Listen. Yep.
That crack.
And again, I'm not saying that it was all right. I'm also saying that it wasn't all wrong.
Man.
And our kids, they just have so much more individuality and voice, and we try to allow them agency.
And they got words.
I mean, listen.
They got words for feelings. They will speak up.
Mm-hmm. And we've created these humans.
We have.
And I think there's a place where it will soon become valuable, because we need them to be able to advocate for themselves and to defend themselves and say the things that our grandparents and great-grandparents were afraid to say, unwilling to say. And so, but with that comes, we got to give some of the stuff away.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely in this crossroad season.
Yep.
Because I have become acutely aware of how much, and because I've talked about this, I apologize to my kids for spanking them growing up. I just have become acutely aware of the impact of slavery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know who I heard say this, but they said I think they said the most racist thing you could do, or the most painful thing you could do, was to spank your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang, oh man. And I forget which episode it was, but, just talking about like how my dad was disciplined by his father. Mm-hmm. And while we don't know how my grandfather was disciplined, we do know that his father was born enslaved. Mm-hmm. And so I'm only 3 generations removed.
Yeah.
Great-grandfather, grandfather, my father, me.
Absolutely.
From slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how much of this is the generational trauma that we are continuing to pass down?
Right.
And where does it stop? And how does it stop? And I think that process is murky. It's uncharted territory. Okay. I think we're in the murky ugliness of it all, trying to detach from the trauma.
Yeah. In the arcadia of it, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of it that happens out of traditionalism and unawareness. Like there's I don't see another way to do it. And so I'm going to do this because it was done.
This is what I know.
Exactly.
This is all I know. I don't have a Rolodex. I'm literally just pulling from
what I know.
Yeah. And the spankings were effective.
Yeah.
Listen, I need you to get up and go do. Oh, you don't want to. And then they got up and they went to go do. Who is that? Teach Not Punish. Tiara?
Ooh.
She was class of 2000, Robin's sister.
Okay. Not Fleming.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
she has a nonprofit called Teach Not Punish.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about not spanking your kids. Teach them, don't punish them.
Yeah, that sounds like Love and Logic as well.
Yeah. So shout out to Teach Not Punish.
Class 2000, Book 2, I said Oklahoma Tulsa.
Yeah.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, Book 2.
But I remember when she started this, and I was like, oh, that's not for me. That's not for me. These kids they gonna get the beat down.
They gonna catch the hands.
Yeah.
You know, I heard someone say that that oftentimes during slavery, that if you could get to your kids before like the owner or slave master could, then the slave master would let you discipline your own kid. And so oftentimes what would happen is they would say, oh yeah, that's right. They would say, we got him. You don't have to do it. We got him. And they're like, let me see it. Mm-hmm. And so now we whooping our kids in front of master. So master don't beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I think that mindset carries down of like, let me get you here before the world gets you.
Yeah.
Like I need to establish, I need you to get it here because the world isn't going to be as kind as this belt in my hand is to you.
Right. And I love you. I whoop you because I love you. Yeah. How many times we hear it?
Now listen, this hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, at the time, but as a parent now, it's like, I've literally spanked my kids and then like cried in my room.
Same.
Like,
same.
You think I don't want you to get these lessons?
Yeah.
And if this is the only, I've tried to talk to you, because for us, I say for me, for us, spanking wasn't like our go-to.
It was actually absolutely final resort. Although I think for our parents, it was, for my parents, it was
my parents
first line of defense.
My parents, they talked later. It flipped when I got a little older. In fact, my dad was like, son, you too old to be whooping. Yeah. And then he like set me on the bed, pointing to the gun above his closet. You know, he was like, that's my belt from here on out. Yeah. I don't recommend that for anybody. It kept me straight. You're not telling me nothing twice.
Got it. Message received.
Listen, if it's obedience or death, and again, I am not recommending this for anybody. I'm just saying there's this, you called it. We're in this transition. We're in this phase of like, we're trying to detach from this, but attached to what?
To what? Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I started to see, there was a point where we stopped spanking. So me apologizing has come in the present, but when we stopped, that was a clear moment because I felt like it wasn't effective anymore and it was causing harm, but I still didn't feel the need to apologize because it was sort of like, this is what you do. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Wow. But I remember it was also during that time that I would see other families, kids are well behaved, mannerable, kind, like the kind of kids that I wanted to produce and impact and put out in the world. And they did not spank their kids. And I was like, oh, maybe there's another way.
But, you know, and I think for every example that we have, we can look at other examples as well, because I know people who don't spank their kids, and you can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so, some of y'all ain't never had open, and it shows.
Ever. But some of y'all ain't never had no redirection.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, have you seen Big Daddy with Adam Sandler? And he was literally letting the kid do whatever he wanted to. Yeah. And he was like, I guess you just suffer the consequences of whatever decision you make. Yeah. And I don't know that that's the best decision for everybody.
The other end of the spectrum.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has a lot to do with determining your child's learning patterns. Because I know for me, like very early on, I didn't require spankings. I would get them, but I just wish they would have known earlier. They could have been, they could have told me like, they could have told me I'm disappointed. And that was enough. I was broken.
Listen.
I'm so disappointed in you, Derrick.
The time that my dad, this is the one time both my parents said they were disappointed in me.
What happened? How'd you respond?
Oh, I'm going to tell you what happened because you know this person.
Don't say their name.
I'm not going to say their name, but I snuck them into the house because they didn't have anywhere to go.
Okay.
And my parents before had let this individual into our home and they had stayed the night before. Very, very different. And so the first time I got permission, like, hey, they don't have anywhere to go. Can they come over? Second time, I didn't ask. He didn't want me to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up telling my parents because I just couldn't keep that secret.
Mm-hmm.
And when my daddy said,
Mm.
I'm very disappointed in you.
Broke.
It's over. Like, I will never forget them. I remember what I was wearing. I remember where I was sitting. I remember where he was sitting. And my mom was just on the side. Don't make no sense.
That's a perfect impersonation of my mom. I can see her doing it. Just,
Yeah. So very broken.
Yeah, my dad, my aunties, my mama, Derrick, I cannot tell you how disappointed we
They
are.
were all together.
I mean, it's just individually. Like, I remember because they were treating me like my other cousins, and I'm like, yeah, I don't even have to do that to me. Like, what y'all doing to them with the what's the little blinds, the things that you twist, you unhook that.
I've been with that too.
I don't need no fly swatter, no shoe, no extension cord, no water hose. I don't need broom handle. I don't need no wooden spoon, no back scratcher. Like, I don't need no jumper cables. I don't need no cable wire. I don't need no you. If you just talk to me, you will get the desired behavior. Exactly. They are headed. I'm not. They. I don't know if they need it, but
I had 8 siblings in front of me, so this is me watching my older siblings. Like, do not talk to mama like you crazy. Like, okay, got it. Like,
jump in. Like, no, I didn't need it. And I'm the youngest of 8 as well. Like, I didn't need it. I didn't need it, but they found out. Like, and so again, that's what I'm saying. I think that's like it's so important for us to take the time to get to know our children and how individual they are, because I think that if we learn how to parent the personality, then we will be the most effective that we can be, instead of with a broad stroke, just parenting everyone.
Everybody the same way. Yeah.
But that takes a lot of time and energy.
And parenting is hard work. It is 24 hours. It is 7 days a week. It does not take off.
I'm not doing it again. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not doing it again. No.
And now we're full circle.
Not full circle. I'm not doing it again. Daddy, don't you love us? I do. In this lifetime, if you born again, I hope to meet you and hire you and work with you and be your friend. But I don't want to be your daddy in the next life. That was hard. It's hard. Currently, still is. I'm in the middle of it. I will never not be your daddy until I die. Ever. And that's tough.
And our parents had multiple kids. Like, it's 10 of us.
Yes.
And
we had 2. And I'm like,
I'm done, bruh.
I mean, I went and got snipped, tied, burnt, sizzled, knotted. I was like,
Liz, I wonder how Adam feels. I mean, part of me knows a little bit, but sort of walking into a ready-made family with teenage girls. I mean, that has to be the worst time to.
I mean, the dynamics are already set. The personalities are almost solidified. Like, you're walking into a situation that is in motion.
Yeah.
And you just got to double dutch in. You got to be like, you watching everything that's happening. Yeah. And then you're going to jump in and like, ooh, jump back out. Like, it's just.
And he's done masterfully well, but I know, love you, babe. But I know it hasn't been easy. It's probably, I can't speak for him, but I imagine that this is the hardest thing he has ever done in his whole entire life.
You should ask Adam if you get 9 more chances.
No, he gonna be like, I love you, but
with all my heart. And these girls, I love you. He gonna give you the longest front load ever. He gonna be like, I learned so much about myself and life. And I adore all of you. Oh my gosh, I would give almost any. He's like, get to the point. He's like, what would you do it again? He's like,
He'll say, you're stuck with me now. And I'll be like, you
stuck with me.
Listen, but we went to go visit Esther in the dorms.
Okay.
You guys know Esther.
Congratulations. made the first team as a freshman.
Yeah, she's freshman representative for the dance school, and gets to sit in on some faculty meetings, and then she made company as a freshman. So I'm super proud. Yeah, and dancing with
Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So super proud.
That's amazing.
So, but we were just talking yesterday over dinner, and he was like, "Man, I know that they're not mine, but they are, and so he's like, just a little bit of time that I've been in their life to see Esther grow to where we saw her yesterday. She was different.
Yeah.
She was different just even after a week of college. So
that's cool.
Super proud of her and her growth and development.
The silver lining, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes we think man, I hope we did a good job, or I hope I didn't scar them or mess them up, or and then you get these glimpses of
it's gonna be
okay. Right. Yeah. The hope is, they turn out to be functional human beings,
right?
Independent and are strong. Yeah. That's the hope.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
How do you feel you'll be when you get grandbabies?
I see why grandparents spoil their grandkids.
Yeah.
I understand now. And I'm not even close. I hope I'm not close.
Let me just say, your kids will humble you. You don't know where you are.
Listen,
you don't know.
Listen,
if they are able to procreate, you don't know. So just know that you ain't got one right now.
Right now, as I'm currently speaking, I'm confident in that. I'm not a grandparent, but I see why grandparents, especially young grandparents, are able to, or their desire to do everything with their grandchild that they were unable to do with their children. Because we're in a space now where we're detached from the age,
right?
We're detached from the experience. It's I'm so far away from 1 and 2 years old, right? I have an 18 and 17-year-old now. I'm so far away that I can indulge in that space wholeheartedly, be in the moment, because I know, one, they're not mine, and two, it's almost like this. It's almost like this opportunity for retribution of every moment that I wanted to forget about homework and keep you up late, or wanted to feed you ice cream instead of vegetables. Everything that I wanted to do as a cool parent that I had to not do because I was or I felt like I couldn't do because I had to be responsible and make the right decision. I get an opportunity to do that with grandkids.
Yeah.
And so showing up, again, I hope that I'm not a grandpa for a very long time.
How long? Do you think you'll ever get antsy?
No. 10 years.
So you will be okay if you never had grandchildren?
I would be.
Okay. I want some grandbabies.
Nah.
But not for a while. And I think about 10 years. Well, I have a 21-year-old. So I would say...
I think that's 30, 31.
Yeah, I was 28, 29. That would be the earliest that I would be
We're going to be young empty nesters. And when I say empty nest...
Now, see, I hadn't measured that against in my mind, my grandparent life is different than my empty nest life. So when you say it like that...
I mean...
Hold on.
We're going to be young.
Let me do the math.
Right.
Because what am I, 43?
Mm-hmm.
Amber
42.
will be gone in... So 1, 2, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
She'll graduate 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be 46. 56.
Young.
So 10, 15 years.
I mean,
I need to travel.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Travel.
Let's go. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Shit I'm gonna do when stuff I'm gonna do when my kids leave. It's you know what I'm saying? There's some stuff you just put off because you want to be present and available and around. You just want to be around. You know what I'm saying? You just want to be available. Because when I think about the support system that I did not have, or the immediate availability that I did not have with my parents, and I'm not talking about you, I'm just talking about me. I just wish it was a little different in that way.
Yeah.
And to be able to be that for my kids is exciting, but I don't want to sacrifice another moment of my adulthood for anybody else.
I feel that.
Like, I think I've put a lot on the altar.
You have. We both have.
Agreed. And there's a lot of people out there, I mean, that are watching this. You sacrifice as well. And and I don't even blame you if you don't want to come back and do it again. But we got to finish this life out first.
Yeah.
Before we get to come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important for us to steward this life well, to be good and genuine and honest and real with the people around us. Yeah. I think that's so important. And so let's finish it out strong, and we can set our situation up to where it can favor our desires and line up with our desires. Then I think we do that. But protecting those dreams and those goals from any and everything, I think there's some value and importance in that, especially when our children become adults.
Absolutely.
And I want them to do the same thing. I don't want them to fight off my expectations at the sacrifice of their desires or what they want to do.
Oh, yeah. We've built them for that, right? To go boldly, live the life, build the life, create the life that you want. And we're hoping that the seeds we've planted will yield good fruit. They'll be productive, successful, contributing citizens, that they will love themselves, love others, and put good out in the world, right? So
absolutely,
it's hard. And on that note,
are we done?
It feels like a good place to stop, because I know you and I can talk for hours. So thank you guys for listening to this Woman Unplugged. This is episode 2 with Derrick Sier.
You're welcome.
The podcast king.
Hey.
Thank you all for listening in. But yeah, we want to hear your thoughts. We kind of uncovered a lot. So
we did.
If you got thoughts, opposing thoughts, if we said anything that resonated with you, please holla in the comments, share, subscribe, all the things. Have a beautiful day.
Peace.